Hey fellow gardeners, before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below sharing your favorite soil building techniques. Today I'm going to take you on a journey into a time-tested gardening secret, an organic material used long before World War II that can build humus in your garden faster than your regular compost heap ever could. If you've been struggling with soil that's tired, compacted, or just not giving your plants that lush growth you crave, stick around. This is the kind of knowledge that can transform your garden, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned soil whisperer. Back in the early 1900s, gardeners didn't have access to modern chemical fertilizers or the high-tech compost accelerators we see today. They relied heavily on what was locally available. And, one organic material in particular stood out. Leaf mold combined with well-rotted farmyard manure. Leaf mold alone is incredible. It's simply decomposed leaves. But when mixed with aged manure, it creates a humus-rich substrate that improves soil structure, water retention, and microbial life at a speed that conventional composting can't match. Pre-war gardeners understood that soil isn't just dirt, it's a living ecosystem, and the faster you can feed that ecosystem, the quicker your garden flourishes. The key difference lies in decomposition. Regular compost involves layers of greens and browns that slowly break down over months, sometimes even a year, depending on conditions. The pre-World War II method accelerates humus creation because the leaf mold and aged manure are already partially decomposed, so they skip the initial stages of composting that slow down nutrient availability. When you apply this mixture directly to your garden beds, microbes and earthworms immediately start working to integrate it into the soil. You're not just adding nutrients, you're adding living organic matter that turns the soil dark, crumbly, and honestly incredibly fertile in a fraction of the time. Finding aged leaves and manure is easier than you might think. Fallen leaves from deciduous trees left to weather for 6 months to a year in a shaded pile will naturally break down into leaf mold. It's important to avoid leaves from walnut or eucalyptus trees, as they contain compounds that inhibit plant growth. For the manure component, aged cow horse or chicken manure works best. The key here is aging. Fresh manure is just too strong and can burn plants, but properly cured manure, usually aged at least 6 months, is mild, rich, and full of humus-building microbes. Once you have your leaf mold and manure ready, you can prepare your humus mix in a ratio of roughly 3 parts leaf mold to 1 part aged manure. If your garden soil is very sandy, consider adding a bit more manure to increase fertility. For clay-heavy soils, increase the leaf mold portion to help loosen and aerate the soil. Mix these thoroughly in a wheelbarrow or on a tarp before applying to garden beds. You'll notice the soil immediately feels lighter and more friable, ready to welcome seeds or transplants. Spread a generous 2 to 3 inch layer of the mixture over your beds in early spring or fall. Gently fork it into the top 4 to 6 inches of soil. This is not just a top dressing. This is actively feeding the soil biome. For perennial beds or established gardens, you can lay a thinner layer around plants as a mulch, letting earthworms gradually pull it down into the soil over the season. The humus this method creates improves water retention in sandy soils, helps clay soils drain better, and, it feeds beneficial microbes that fend off pests and diseases naturally. For those looking for even faster results, you can introduce small amounts of garden-friendly microbes or compost tea when applying the mixture. This really jump-starts microbial activity and speeds up humus formation even further. Over the course of one growing season, you'll notice your soil holding moisture better, plant roots exploring deeper, and seedlings thriving with less supplemental fertilizer. What makes this approach so compelling is that it doesn't just feed plants, it rebuilds the garden ecosystem. Pre-World War II gardeners intuitively understood that soil with high humus content supports beneficial insects, earthworms, and even above-ground pollinators. Healthy soil holds more water, meaning less stress on plants during dry spells, and the improved structure makes digging, planting, and maintaining beds far easier. Over multiple seasons, a garden treated consistently with leaf mold and aged manure develops a resilience that no quick-fix chemical fertilizer can replicate. If you're growing vegetables, apply the humus mixture directly into raised beds in early spring, then plant your crops as usual. Your tomatoes, peppers, and leafy greens will thank you with vigorous growth and deeper, more flavorful produce. For ornamental gardens, use it as a base layer under shrubs and perennials in fall. By the next spring, your flowers will have strong root systems and your soil will be dark, rich, and crumbly without the need for constant fertilization. Even container gardeners can benefit. Just blend a portion of this humus into potting soil to improve water retention and microbial life in pots. While this method accelerates humus creation compared to traditional composting, it still respects natural processes. You'll see quick improvements in soil structure and microbial activity, but the true magic happens over time. Observe your garden carefully, note how water behaves in your soil, and watch plant growth patterns. Humus-rich soil is alive, and the more attention you give it, the more it rewards you with vigor, resilience, and beautiful harvests. So, fellow gardeners, if you're ready to give your soil a pre-World War II boost, gather your leaves, age your manure, mix them wisely, and start feeding your soil the way our grandparents did. You'll be amazed at how fast your garden comes to life. If this guide has helped you see a new path to faster humus and healthier soil, subscribe to Evergreen Garden for more practical, time-tested gardening wisdom. Share this video with your gardening friends and drop a comment below, telling us what organic materials you found transform your soil the fastest. Your garden and your soil will thank you for it.